Let's now focus on Task 2 of the IELTS Academic Writing Test. In this section of the writing test, you need to write an essay, a short piece of writing written in formal language with a clear structure and purpose. So let's begin with a brief overview of this task. You need to write an academic essay in response to a question. So, in other words, your essay must relate to the question that you have been asked. You should show that you understand the question, and you should answer it by taking a position and giving reasons and examples to support your points. You have to write at least 250 words, and your essay should be organised logically. It should also show that you can use a range of language accurately and appropriately. Now, you have about 40 minutes to do all of this, so you need to approach this task quickly and efficiently. I'll give you some advice on how you can do this. Let's start by looking at an example of an essay question. Can you see the highlighted text? Those are the instructions for this task. They are the same for Task 2 in every IELTS academic writing test. So, as you can see, you're told how long to spend on this task. About 40 minutes. And how many words to write. At least 250 words. This is good advice. As you know, you have 2 writing tasks to complete in 1 hour. Task 2 of the IELTS writing test is longer and worth slightly more of your IELTS writing grade than Task 1. So that's why you should spend a little more time on it. Notice that you're also told that when you answer the question, you should support your position by giving reasons and examples. These can come from your own knowledge and experience of this topic. Now, let's look at the essay question. Unlike the instructions, the essay question will change from one IELTS test to the next. So, the topic of this essay is childhood obesity, or children who are overweight. We're told that this is a problem in some Western societies, such as Australia and the United States. Now, let's look at the task. What do we have to do in this essay? Well, we're asked to explain the causes of this problem. So, in other words, why do so many children in these developed countries become overweight? Now, we're also asked to suggest some possible ways of overcoming this problem. So, as you can see, this question has 2 parts. To do well in this task, you need to address all parts of the question, so be sure to read the question carefully. So what exactly should an essay look like? Well, an academic essay has a standard format or structure that writers are expected to follow. You should write in full sentences, no notes or bullet points, and your essay should be organised into paragraphs. The IELTS Task 2 essay is only 250 words, so 4 or 5 paragraphs for your essay is sufficient. The essay begins with an introduction. This should introduce the topic and briefly give some background information, followed by your position and a very brief outline of the main points of the essay. The next part of the essay is the body. This contains the main points that you're using to support your position. 2 or 3 paragraphs is sufficient here, depending on how many main points you have in your argument. And the final paragraph is your conclusion. in which you sum up your main points and restate your position. Let's look at a sample essay now, so that you can see what the structure looks like. First, here is the question. You can see it's about why countries host large sporting events like the Olympics, even though they're very expensive. What do you think? What might be some possible reasons? And this is what the whole essay looks like. This essay is about 290 words long, and it's divided into 4 paragraphs. Let's briefly look at each one now. This is the introduction. It introduces the topic and gives some background information. Then it gives the writer's position and gives a preview of what the essay will be about. Notice how the writer uses some of the information given in the question by putting it into her own words. This is the first paragraph of the body of the essay. It explains the first reason why countries want to host big sporting events. Note the use of signpost language here. It's clear that the writer is going to explain the first main point in this paragraph. This is body paragraph 2. It explains the second reason why countries want to host big sporting events. Notice how the writer refers back to the previous reason and then signals that this paragraph will be about another reason. And this is the conclusion. Notice how the writer uses a concluding linker, in conclusion, to show that we've come to the end of the essay. Now, let's talk about how the essay is assessed. The examiner will assess your essay in 4 different areas. Firstly, task response. In other words, how well you answered the question. Your essay should address the question and have a clear position, supported by reasons and examples. Secondly, coherence and cohesion. This means that your essay is organised logically and has a clear structure, with an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Your essay should be divided into paragraphs, with each paragraph having a clear central idea. Thirdly, your lexical resource. That is, your ability to use a range of vocabulary accurately and appropriately. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy, or how well you can use English grammar. We've talked a little about the first 2 areas here. That is, how to answer the question and how to organise your essay. So now, let's briefly look at what the examiner is looking for in terms of your grammar and vocabulary. Let's start with lexical resource, or vocabulary. Look at body paragraph 1 again, from the sample essay. Notice how the writer shows that she has a wide range of vocabulary by using synonyms, that is, words and phrases that have a similar meaning. Now let's look at grammatical range and accuracy. Here is body paragraph 2 from the sample essay. Notice how the writer uses complex sentences and a range of grammatical structures, such as passive voice, to show that she has a good command of English grammar. So, now that I've described how to write the IELTS Task 2 essay, why don't you take some time to read over this summary? I should point out that this is one way to approach this task which we think is effective, but it's not the only way. After that, I'm sure you're ready to do some practice to help you build some more skills around writing essays.